Welcome everyone, Dylan Gemelli here today with a brand new video for you. So today we are going to talk about stacking testosterone, Primobolan, and Deca Durabolin. But before we get into that, I have to reiterate that I am not a doctor. Anything I say in these videos is for your entertainment purposes only. What you do with this information is completely and utterly up to you, and I am not advising nor condoning you to use any of these products in any way, shape, or form. So let's get into this cycle plan, layout, how to run it, etc. First of all, why this stack? Why? Why test Primo and Deca? Well, if you're looking for a stack where you can, basically what I'm looking at here is one of the best recomposition stacks you can run, where you can gain size, you can gain strength, you can keep the side effects minimal, you can still keep it dry, keep it clean, and still have a nice aesthetic look with all of this involved. That's a lot. All right, that's a bodybuilder's dream. That's a lot of different ways that you can go with this, a lot of versatility, and I love this stack. I absolutely love it. All right, now for you Arnold fans that want to bring up Arnold about every little thing that goes on, well, these are a few of his favorite compounds. All right, I don't do that. I don't get into that because whatever Arnold did doesn't apply to the normal everyday person because you're not Arnold. So I hate hearing that. But for you people that love to go back to him, well, here's some of his favorites and some of my favorites as well. Now, in my time when I did use things, which I don't anymore, Primobolan has always been my favorite. But Deca has always been one of my favorites as well. Surprisingly, because most people know that I'm not a bulking guy and everybody associates Deca with bulking. However, Deca, if used properly, can have minimal side effects and can be extremely dry and extremely beneficial. But it all goes hand in hand with doing things the right way. What's doing things the right way? Running conservative or moderate doses that aren't ridiculous, running all the proper ancillaries on cycle, running a complete post-cycle therapy. All right? Getting the proper blood work. You're supposed to get pre, mid, and post-cycle blood work. Pre-cycle blood work so you have a baseline. Mid-cycle blood work so you can see how your body's reacting to everything that you're doing, and clearly post-cycle to see how you're recovering. So now that we got all that out of the way, let's talk about the cycle. So we're going to look at this as a 12 to 14 week cycle. Deca is an extremely long half-life, so running it up near that 14 weeks generally is what you want to do, but 12 weeks will suffice. Now, I have said in a multitude of times to not exceed 400 milligrams of Deca for any reason whatsoever. People are still going to do it, and that's fine. To each their own. Some people do tolerate it a little better, but for most, there is no need to go over 400 milligrams. Now, I am going to lay this out in an extremely effective manner to get the most out of this cycle with the least amount of side effects. So that is why my recommendation will be 300 to 350 milligrams of test, 300 to 350 milligrams of Deca, and 600 to 800 milligrams of Primobolan. Primobolan is extremely well tolerated, as you can go back and watch plenty of my videos that discuss this, and it needs to be ran a little bit higher. You don't have to be running a gram of Primobolan, and 600 milligrams is just fine. Even 500 milligrams would be just fine. But 600 is more or less a sweet spot for it to get the most out of it, and the beauty of Primobolan is the gradual increases in strength and lean muscle that you will see throughout this cycle. So you're going to constantly see it. Where Deca, you'll probably get, it takes a while, to really kick 4 to 6 weeks, but it'll hit you pretty good, and you're not going to see like gradual, big, dramatic increases like you will initially with it. Where Primobolan is going to be gradual the whole way through. All right, and mixing it with Deca is extremely well because it makes Deca shine even more. So these doses are going to be perfect. They're going to go well in hand. Now, people will often ask, should I run test higher than Deca? Should I run Deca higher than test? Look, everybody's different. Some people will get on there and they will fight tooth and nail to the death that you need to run test higher than Deca, and then there's some that will go the complete opposite direction. So then what I always say is, you know what? To mitigate all this nonsense, left, right, because you know what? You're going based on what that person feels, not what you feel, because everybody's different. So I always tell people, start them equal, or at least, 50 milligrams off of each other, something like that, so you can really see how your body responds. Because you might find you run them equal and you never want to try any other way. All right? But that is a trial and error. There's no science that I can sit here and BS you or feed you or act like I know that's going to tell you that you should run test and or Deca higher than the other. So anybody telling you that is not being honest. They can give you their personal experience, and that's awesome. It's great for everybody to do that out there. But you can't come on here and tell me or tell anybody else that one or the other is the right or wrong way. Because some people will come on here and show you results on one or the other that will completely eradicate your argument. So I'm not going to even try to fight that. That's why I always go right down the middle and stay neutral. Because you shouldn't lose that way. Now, ancillaries. You need to be controlling estrogen. All right. Now, I don't know how estrogen prone you may or may not be. But 350 milligrams of test with 350 milligrams of Deca, you should probably be running Aromasin and or Arimidex. Your blood work will determine how much you need. You should also have Caber or Dostanex or Pramipexole on hand. Now, some people at 300 milligrams or less of Deca and or Tren are okay with just vitamin B6 to control prolactin levels. I would still always have it on hand, and your blood work will determine. If you are going to run Caber, which is what I recommend, it would be 0.25 milligrams every 3 days. 0.5 milligrams every 3 days is going to be way too much. Way too much. Prami's doses are going to flex. You can watch my Prami video on how to go up and down on those, and because everybody gets side effects on those, and I'm not going to get into a big dosing scheme on Prami right now, and most people generally opt for Caber anyway. But you can also email me with questions on those dosing patterns as well, so I can make it conducive to your needs and necessities. It's not so cut and dry. Beyond that, you should be good ancillary-wise. Primobolan doesn't convert to estrogen. There's no issue there. Deca is very minimal on its estrogen conversion, a fraction of what testosterone does. Testosterone is where you're looking at your estrogen conversion. You're going to need a full post-cycle therapy. You can go back and watch. I have a full post-cycle video that explains top to bottom how to run an exact perfect post-cycle therapy. 12 to 14 weeks, I would run a 6-week post-cycle, which I recommend on any cycle, but especially with something like Deca that can linger in your body for a very long time. But this stack right here is the truth. It's the truth. It's phenomenal. People that run it want to run it every single time. All right? Remember, 12 to 14 weeks, there's no need to go any longer than that. There's no need to be ridiculous with it. That is the perfect length of time for the cycle. So that, my friends, is testosterone, Deca, and Primobolan. Now, if you want to run shorter esters, you can, but mind you, Primobolan still needs to go that 12 weeks. So if you want to run test prop and NPP, you're still going to need to run them 12 weeks. Dosing's not going to change. It's just going to be more frequent pinning. Okay? So keep that in mind. That's it. That's the stack. So hopefully that helped you and gives you a little idea on how to do that properly. That being said, www.icearms.com/forums. I'm also on the Evolutionary Forum as well as the Elite Fitness Forum. And you can also email me, Dylan@icearms.com, with all questions and comments. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That being said, stay tuned for plenty more to come. Dylan Gemelli, signing off.